Hello, hello. Can you believe it? We are December 7th. This is our last market update of the year for 2023. Our next market update will be in January of 2024. I can't believe it. Dustin is going to be joining us in just a minute to talk rates. I am going to talk to you about how the market is doing in our local real estate market, what we did in November, how it compares to November last year, just to give you some context of where we are. I will say this, 2023 has been a very interesting real estate year. Unlike years in the past where it was interesting from a very fast-paced, high-volume standpoint, this has been a much different market with inventory still being low, but rates still being very high comparably, not over the course of the last 30 years, but high compared to the last few years. It's definitely made for a very interesting 2023 in the real estate world. But we are headed into 2024, and there is lots of hope that rates are going to be coming down, and that's what Dustin's going to talk to us about, which will create some new activity and new opportunities for both buyers and sellers. So we are very excited to get started with the new year. But for now, we're going to talk about what this year is rounding out at. So let's go to Muscogee and Harris County, looking at November, where we are, how things closed out. There were 198 closed sales this past November, and November last year there were 185. So we actually were up just a little bit, which hasn't really been the trend for the year overall, but good to see that right now. We are at about 29 days on the market on average versus November last year was about 31 days. Average sales price for this past November was $281,000. Average sales price last November was $229,000. So that's a pretty significant change month to month, year to year. List to sale price percent was 98.7 for this past November, and last year it was 97.56. Now, again, and I've said this almost every month, what I do want you to realize is while the list to sale price percent looks a little bit higher this year, that number is calculated based off the final list price, what it actually closed out for, or what the list price was at the time it went under contract. And what I can tell you as a listing expert in our market, and I manage all of the listing inventory for our team, is that we are seeing significantly more price reductions in 2023 than we have seen in probably the last 4 years, 3 years for sure, but probably even within the last 4 years, maybe 5. So while that list to sales price percent, it looks like it's a little better than it was last year, that doesn't account for the price reductions that took place prior to that final list price before going under contract. So I just want y'all to keep that in mind. That way you don't have a skewed view of that percentage. Currently, there are about 404 active listings in the MLS for Muscogee and Harris County. This time last year, there were about 351. So for the first time, we're seeing actually a little more inventory, not significantly more, but a little bit more. So that's nice. Pending sales, there are 274 approximately right now. And this time last year, there were 238. So we're also seeing pending sales up a little bit. From last year to this year. This time last year, everybody was still very much in shock about the increase in interest rates. 2023 has been a year of people coming to grips with the interest rates. So I would say maybe a fair way to assess it is that we've kind of gotten a little more used to it, which is what we expected. So let's move to Russell and Lee County, look at how everything's closed out for November. There were 85 closed sales this past November. Last year, there were 126 closed sales. So there is a little difference. There are a few less closed sales on the Alabama side than on the Georgia side for our market. Average days on the market for this past November was about 32, and last year it was 45. So we saw that come down a little bit. Average sales price was $267,000, and last year it was $238,000. So just like Muscogee and Harris County, we're seeing a little bit of a price increase, an average sales increase month over month between the 2 years. List to sale price percent. Things closed out right around 100% list to sale price. Again, you have to keep in mind there were price reductions involved in that process. So it's not that they listed for the price and they got 100% list price. There, with many of the sales, there were some price reductions that happened before they came to that pricing. Last year for November, it was about 98.17%. Currently, there are about 203 active listings in the East Alabama Board of Realtors, which covers our East Alabama market area for Russell and Lee County. And last year, this time, there was about 199. So, really much kind of tit for tat, not a big change there. Current pending sales are about 139, and last year it was 168. So a few less pending sales right now, month over month, on the Alabama side. So that gives us our general market update. I am very excited about putting together our year-end numbers. I always love looking at the year-end to see how the year, we talk about month over month, and I break down each quarter as we end the quarters. And so it gives you some ideas, but I get excited about where the year actually ended up because it gives us true data over a full 12-month average. And so we'll be pulling that together. That will be our next market update in January. So we'll be seeing you after the new year for that. But for now, let's get Dustin in here with Northpointe Bank to talk mortgage interest rates, the hot topic of the season.
Hey, I feel like we have almost every video has been a little negative. A little negative.
Hey,
with me,
there's
she's
never
been positive.
a negative
I have
video
always
with
been
Kim
negative.
Mixon.
I'm always the downer, but today I have some happiness. So
Awesome.
Rates are heading in the right direction. We cannot exactly tell you how low they're going to go, but I do think we are done with the drastic rises. So I think we're going to see them kind of casually fall. I'm not saying they're going to go from the 7s to the 4s overnight. So if you're someone that is currently shopping, looking for a home, lock your interest rate. Don't hear me and then say, oh, we're going to wait and see what happens. Anything could happen, guys. But I do think they're on the decline. We've talked a little bit about jobs, as far as jobless claims, unemployment, just how that impacts mortgage rates. And as that unemployment rate rises, you will start to see rates decline, and we are starting to see some signs of that. So I think we're on the way down. Right now, you can bet your conventional rate. This is par rate, so no extra fees. Just the base rate that you would normally get would be about 7.125. FHA, VA, your government loans 6.625. So.
And, it's been a hot minute since we've heard some 6s. And even, over the last, 60 days have been up in the 8 range. So this is good news.
Correct. Yeah. If you were somebody that maybe bought early October, you may have seen over 8% conventional. You were definitely in the 7s on VA or FHA. So it's been a big shift. And while you were talking about, basically over year, I was looking where we were in December, this exact day in December of last year. FHA and VA were about 5.75, and conventional was about 6.25. So basically an entire percentage point higher in rate today than we were 12 months ago, which on a $250,000 house changes your payment by $165 a month.
And that has significant impact for people's budgeting and qualification, just what their debt to income allows them to qualify for.
So it's been a crazy year for sure, but I do think there are brighter days ahead. So
and that is what we want to focus on, the brighter days ahead, because they are coming and we are going to be ready. And that's where when I say be ready, I'm talking to both buyers and sellers. 2024 is going to be a year of pivot. We're going to see, 2022 ended up being a pivot year that we weren't quite expecting as rates really rose drastically about mid-year. And then 2023 has been a year of just kind of dealing with it and figuring it out. And I think 2024, we're going to see a pivot again. We're going to see rates start to relax, which is going to change the market again. And so it's going to be a fun year in real estate and an interesting one. So buyers and sellers need to be ready for that. And that means if you are thinking about whether or not next year might be a good time for you to sell, let's go ahead and have those conversations. It's never too soon to start that dialogue and figure out what that plan might be like. And then for buyers, the same thing. If you are thinking about buying and you've maybe been holding because the rates have just not been attractive or the rate pricing wasn't getting you into the right price point, you need to be ready to be very reactive as soon as the rates start to change, because it's going to change everything. It will also change seller situations. We are in a very low inventory time, and I don't see that changing just overnight. Hopefully we will see some more inventory coming into the market next year, but it's still, we're not going to get back up to average levels really fast, which means buyers, as rates relax, buyers get off the fence, you're still going to be dealing with low inventory situations. So, it could get back to more of a multiple offer and a much more competitive buying scenario again. Maybe not quite as crazy as 2021. We don't really know, but we are expecting things could possibly get more competitive than they were in 2023, for sure.
I think it will heat up for sure.
So we've got to be ready for that. That requires some planning and some strategies. So you guys need to call us. Let the Kim Mixon team help you with the buying and selling process. Let Dustin at Northpointe Bank help you with the financial piece, figuring out your mortgage in and outs and how you want to be structured and ready to make those offers. Because when that time comes, and if we are in situations where there's any kind of competitive level on bidding wars or anything like that, if you don't have your ducks in a row as a buyer, if you don't have your pre-approval and all of that, you are going to lose out over and over and over. So please, please, please start the planning process. Let us help you with that. It doesn't mean you're locking into anything. It doesn't mean you are tied to a certain interest rate right now. It's nothing like that. It's just having all those pieces put together, and it takes a little more than what some people think it's going to take, and you don't want to miss out on the perfect home because you weren't prepared.
No.
When the Kim Mixon team has said, be prepared. And guess what? If you don't find the perfect home immediately, you're still prepared. And that's always a better scenario. You're prepared when it does hit. So anything else you want to add to that?
Not really. I think Kim is right. You need to be prepared and just being comfortable with the process.
Yeah.
Because it will happen fast. Before you know it, you're going to open your phone, or you're going to get an ad. Zillow's going to show you a house. You're going to want to buy it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be gone before you can even get there sometimes. So,
I think we're going to see a little more of that, especially as rates come down some next year. So let's be ready.
Yeah, be ready. And when you do, if you do call me, your pre-qualification, as long as nothing major changes with you, your job's the same. You don't open a bunch of new accounts. You don't go buy 4 Mercedes. It's good for 120 days. So 4 months. So you've got a pretty good time there. If you got ready now, at least for the next 4 months. If you close on something before then, we wouldn't have to repull credit. We would just update your pay stubs, or anything that is that maybe comes out every 30 days. We would update that. But
awesome.
4 months is a pretty big window. So you can be proactive if you'd like to be.
And that's the first 4 months is the start of the ramp up of the real estate year. Right. So it's a good time to be ready to make decisions. So on that note, we are going to wrap this up, and thank you for tuning in and watching, paying attention to what's going on in our real estate market. Hopefully this information is helpful, and if there's any specific details you need about your own scenario, your personal house, your neighborhood, whatever that might be, call me 706-332-6349, and let's talk what those numbers look like for you, what your equity position might be. I can help you with all of that stuff, and my team can as well. So we hope you have a fabulous Christmas season, an amazing New Year celebration, and we will see you again in 2024 with the year-end market update for 2023. So you guys have a great holiday season, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.
See you guys.